Cool.
So should we just catch up and like let it rip?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'll just set the stage. So me and this is Gabby, this is my first time on my YouTube channel. If I post it, who knows where this will go, but I've been wanting to do a podcast with somebody else, and we have Gabby here with our cute little mics that she showed me. We have a light set up. We're on photo booth, and we've been meeting to do the artist way, and every time Gabby comes over, I'm like, we could record everything she says, and it's like super valuable. And I think I want to hear it again, and you probably would want to hear it. So we're just gonna forget that you're here. All right.
No, I was saying something before that we could just jump into, but I can't.
Well, okay, so
yeah. I remember what I was saying actually. Okay, so last night I was doing breathwork, and I was thinking, so sorry if this is TMI, if this goes on the YouTube, but every single month when I hit my PMS phase, I question my entire life. I have so much anxiety. I think that I'm on the wrong path. I last month redid my resume and applied to jobs. This month I was like, I don't want to be self-employed anymore. I just want a job, and I'll do my stuff on the side. Manny, hey, get out of the trash. My dog's eating trash. Get over here. Come be on the show. Come on. Okay, that works. There he is. This is Manny, everybody.
Hey, Manny.
But yeah, so every time that my hormones are just a raging battle inside of me, they attack my brain and tell me that I should not be doing what I'm doing, and that I should just seek stability and revert back to my old ways. And you would think after 3 years of being self-employed that would go away, but it doesn't, just because rent is due on Sunday, and it's I have to look at my finances, and I'm an easy job with a nice paycheck that would carve out time for me to do what I want on the side without having to have any financial pressure on it would be so much more relaxing. Yeah, Grow Collective is my company. We are launching a portal that's going to connect event hosts, facilitators, brands, and venues all in one place. We're going to have event templates that teach you exactly how to host all my events that I've done and perfected. So and then we have courses on how to host events as well. So if people want to start hosting events and just meet other people who have done it and have support along the way, that is going live within the next 2 weeks. Previously, Grow was just an event company, so I've hosted over 200 events now, and now I want to help empower other people around the whole country to do what I've done and not make the same mistakes that I made, because I learned from all those mistakes. But if people could not have to make them, then their journey will be a lot more fun and relaxing. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, did virtual breathwork last night and was able to just release a lot of the tension. But I think the biggest thing that came to me was that I have so much that I want to be sharing all the time, and I'm doing that. I was doing that a lot through hosting my events, which I'm kind of burnt out on now. And I'm doing it a lot through my Substack articles. But if I actually want to make massive impact, the missing piece is me talking on camera and posting it, especially on TikTok, because you get sent out to people who you don't know. Whereas I've done a lot on Instagram, but now I'm just tapping into the same people over and over. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference because Reels get to some new people, but really not that much. And there's a lot more pressure on Instagram for whatever reason. I feel it's more curated platform, whereas TikTok's just be who you are, wear your hair in a bun.
Yeah.
Fuck it, who cares kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to do I already have my Grow Collective account, and I'm just going to use that for my rebrand and talking about event tips and community tips and just teaching people all of the stuff that I know, which can then be a funnel for my templates and the courses and my portal. And then I'm going to do Grow with Gab, which is the same name as my Substack. And then I'll read the Substacks. I'll talk about the ideas that I have, chop it up into smaller content, and just kind of be myself, talk about self-employment, mindset, and how it's all intertwined. So
That's so exciting.
yeah, I was like, this is coming at a perfect time that we're going to record.
All of this, perfect time. So right before you came, I unbricked my phone because I had it bricked, and I saw your video, and I was like, every time you're the one actually who inspired me to start doing videos, because I saw you one time share your story on the Grow Collective page, and I was like, I want to see more of her, and I love learning more about you and your story, and just like video is so powerful. And I think I told you that one time at the gym. Like, you being authentic made me want to be more authentic, and that helped me just to post about what I was doing in San Diego, like far before I started doing video. And now I'm doing this.
Which is so cool, because that was really what was coming to me. It was like all of my anxiety and all of the things that I've been through could be boiled down on the most basic level to not following my most authentic self. And I've always been like really myself, and I've always been really driven and had a strong idea of who I was, but I never really knew how deeply society, my family, everything around me like ingrained all of my choices and everything that I was doing. And so when I stopped working for other people and went self-employed, it was like, oh my gosh, like I hated this job for a reason. I kept repeating these patterns of being burnt out every 2 to 4 years and like being really depressed and anxious and getting my tumors. And it was like, why does this keep happening? And is the solution actually to keep getting a new job or getting a new apartment or moving to a new city? Because no, it's not. It's turning inward, figuring out what your negative emotions are telling you and what's not working, so you can redirect towards what is. That's always going to be like a continual like building block, because you're going to start stuff and then get burnt out and not like it. But it's essentially finding ways to like chase what lights you up in that moment and going for it. And so everything that I do, I think I really want to be inspiring other people to just be their authentic self and like not be afraid of what other people are going to think. Because if you do that, I really think that a lot of mental health issues start to subside. And also like people's comments roll off your back. Like you just kind of don't care the same way. You live more freely. You can have a more abundant mindset, which actually brings you that energy that you're putting out. And like, I only want to spend my time with authentic people, you know? It's like, I feel like that's why I love your content so much, because you're just riffing and saying like all the things that come to mind. And like, I see you like light up and get all excited. And it's so fun because I'm like, this is you to your core. Yeah. You know, it's not suppressing you or telling you to be a certain way. Like it's who you are. And that is magnetic. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was also going to say, I just did a whole series on like, I was super low because I was on my period, and I was like, what the heck's wrong with me, questioning my entire life. So it's definitely not too much information. Like I do a whole video on that. And then I get out of the low by doing breathwork. And I put the little video. I did Breathe with Sandy, which I know from Kate, but you do a virtual breathwork with Kate.
Yeah, every other Wednesday.
Yeah, which anyone could do anywhere. And
yeah, exactly. That's what like a lot of the in-person events obviously are here, because I live here, and then I have a friend who hosts in Chicago, and like other people in other places who want to host. But in order to get breathwork really out, I think that having it online is a good way for people to just be able to drop in. It's just an hour, 5 p.m. Pacific time, so that way like the whole country can attend. And sometimes I feel like resistance around it. It's like, when you need to meditate and you just don't want to.
Yeah.
But then the second I do it, I like fall in love with it again. I'm like, this is like the craziest thing ever, to connect with your breath and feel. There was one round, because we do 10 rounds. I swear I was laying there and I felt my body like moving like this. It's not physically moving, but like the energy inside my body and like behind my eyes was moving with the music. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I like on a boat? Am I on mushrooms? Like, what is going on? And it's so cool. Like I had weird, like right here on the back of my leg on this side, felt like it was like a heartbeat, but it also kind of felt like somebody was like poking me. And so I, of course, chat GPT later, like what emotional am I releasing there? And it was super applicable to everything I'm going through. And it's just like, it's so crazy how that works. I think breath work is what took me, like I had been meditating, I had been journaling, I always worked out consistently, cooked for myself, kind of all the things that you can think of for like self-help. but none of it really like yeah, it would help when I would journal once, but I'd still have chronic anxiety. And then I did breath work, and of course it's not like it went away overnight, but it was finally the thing that started to like chip away at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and one of my videos, like getting out of a low or whatever, is right after I did breathwork. So I'm like super zen, talking so slowly. You can see the effect. And I remember like last summer when I was doing it a lot, I was like, it is like, I can't believe I feel this good for this long. When I was doing it like 3 times a week. I really want to get back to it. So I should go next week. Or if you want to go in person.
Yeah.
Another day too.
Yeah. Sometimes I avoid the gym because I don't want to talk to people after, but I'm down if you want to go together, then that can push me. And then on the 11th, so in 2 Wednesdays, we'll do virtual again.
Oh, okay, cool. And then after that
is the 25th. So every other Wednesday.
Cool.
And then we have Cosmic Activation on the 26th too. Have you been to that one yet?
No.
Ooh, that's like the best event ever. You should come to that one.
Okay.
We do, so I lead us through journaling, and I have the journal entries written out for the whole year because I looked up like what the energies were each month and like what the collective is going to be going through. And so I focus 1 or 2 questions on kind of identifying like what's holding you back and what is no longer serving you, so you can release it. And then we do questions on what you want to cultivate, because that's how Kate structures her breathwork sessions.
Oh, nice.
So we do the journaling, and then we all take a mushroom microdose, and then Kate does an hour of breathwork, and then our friend Charlie takes us through a sound bath for like 15-20 minutes at the end.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Definitely come.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to think in general.
I was also thinking, because I feel like sometimes a lot of our really good talks come from our journaling.
Yeah.
So it's like we could also pause it, do our journaling, and then talk through those as well.
Cool. Trying to think what else has been going on. I feel like that. Okay,
because we haven't seen each other in like 2 weeks. What happens in 2 weeks?
Yeah, so much. Yeah. See, this is good because we're practicing, and it's like it takes a minute to like forget that all of that is there and like be yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. On my Instagram, I just reposted something that Joshua Dean Church posted. He was the first person I did breathwork with in person.
Is that the guy that you just sent me the event?
And he does a podcast. And my stylist told me about this other girl I might have told you about, who's like spiritual. I don't know. It seems like she's into like the mystical kind of things, and she's like has so many followers and has a big podcast and stuff, and goes on shows. Who's friends with him? Like he just seems to be in like circles with these kinds of people. Anyway, I just reposted his Instagram thing, and then he invited me to this like live podcast recording again.
Cool.
I don't know if I want to go, but I also,
is it like a big group?
It's Thursday. It seems like it's like 200 people or something. It's like mix and mingle, and then they have a live podcast recording, and then like I don't know.
That's kind of cool.
Snacks and chat after.
And it was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
We should go.
Oh yeah, it would be at this time too.
Yeah.
Okay. And it'd
be totally go. Okay. I bet we'd meet a lot of really cool people, and we'll be there together. So like sometimes like 200 people's a little too much, even for me. It's like I've been to events that are like 100 people plus, and I'm like, even I feel awkward at this. But if we're going and there's like activities to like watch their podcast,
and it would be cool. They're like definitely for sure a few steps ahead of me, like in the podcast world. And he had like a.
Does it matter that that's black?
No, it's still recording. It's actually helping me because I'm less self-conscious.
Yeah, then we don't think about it. We don't have to see ourselves.
And I don't know what I'll keep in here, but he built this company and was like, I think he was a Forbes 30 under 30 for this cold plunge company, but then it went under because of something. So now he's like,
that's an interesting concept, right? This guy's on 30 under 30 for a specific thing, which is no longer a thing and failed. Although we know that he probably learned so much from it.
Oh yeah.
But it's also like, I used to really want to be on Forbes 30 under 30. So when I turned 30, I was like, damn, 40 under 40, here we
Yeah.
come. But no, that's actually really cool to think about. Like, not everybody who makes it really early on is just like has this
Set for
easy
life
path and
yeah.
like they've made it. It's like, it just goes to show it's such an evolution. It's always a journey, learning, failing.
Yeah.
I don't even like the word fail anymore. I'm like,
learning.
Yeah. Lessons.
He does a lot of stuff that I would love to do too, like going to Sedona with like a group of just like brainstorming and like yeah. So especially if you don't know him.
Sedona. I'm like, we should
yeah,
definitely do that.
Especially if you haven't met him though, that would be a good event to go and meet him and see what kinds of stuff he's doing.
Yeah, totally.
All right, the 19th.
Okay.
We'll look later. Yeah. Okay, what else have I been doing? I've been focusing on YouTube, Instagram stories, and TikTok only because I was getting very overwhelmed and like there's so much to do and so many things, like even the newsletter and stuff. But
honestly, when you said you were gonna do it every week, I was like, that's ambitious. But I was like gonna just let you roll with it because I feel like you never know. Like I do my Substacks twice a week, but I kind of do them like on my drive to Palm Springs. I was having like download. So I just like voice memo everything into my notes and then I write them. So I have like 13 queued up that I need to like put into draft, rewrite, and then I schedule them for every Monday and Friday. So now I have them scheduled through June 20th. So I like don't have the pressure of needing to write because I find that when I set parameters around things and I have to create on X, Y, and Z, that's when the blocks happen.
Yeah.
So if I just let the downloads happen, stockpile them, and then when I have a chance, formulate it, schedule it out in advance, then it's a lot easier. So maybe if you can make your newsletter somehow more like that. Yeah. I know the structure that you had was like more current, or you could just try it once a month.
Honestly, I'm not even worried about it. I'm just gonna if I do it, I do it, but my focus is just not going to be that. It's going to be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram stories, just because Instagram stories are like very effortless, easy for me. So I'm
kind of the same as TikTok, where it's like more TikTok, casual. Yeah, so you don't really have to think about it or care. It's like you have a thought, you record it, you drop it.
Yeah.
Whereas like, why does Reels feel so different? I don't know why. It just has a different.
I know.
It's more pressure. I think it's because it's like an audience of all the people you know. So is your story, True. But like people don't really pay attention to stories as much. But I don't know. That makes me think of how we were talking a couple weeks ago about like, do you remember somebody else's story from last week? It's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't remember people's stuff. But yeah. And you can just repost your TikToks to Instagram Reels if you want to. That's my plan. I'm going to focus on TikTok because I feel like it has a better energy. And then I just download it and like upload it.
That's what I've been doing too.
Yeah.
I did start using repurpose also.
How's that?
It's good.
That's the one that sends it out to everything.
Yeah. I can show you.
I might want to try that.
Like basically I can just dump a bunch of stuff in a Google Drive folder or wherever, and then it will just go through and post them all wherever you say.
Do they have to be edited prior to putting them in there? Like, does it post exactly as it is? Okay.
I think there's a setting to like shorten or something.
I've been looking for some apps. I found one that's supposedly good for podcasts, actually. Like, you can record it on your phone and then have it, you can type in like 2 people and it'll like switch back and forth between our faces and like chop it up. And then there's some apps and things that if you do like a long form video, it'll take the most important parts and add captions and all that stuff. So I tried one on one of my clients' videos that he sent me last week, and then I just ended up editing myself because I was like, I can hear what's more important and like, so I'm just messing around. So today I recorded like 30 random videos of me just like riffing off ideas I had around like things I've learned at events, like the first 10 minutes of an event, I have to say hi to everybody to like set the tone and the vibe. And then just tried doing little like intros and outros, like, hi, I'm Gabby, I'm the founder of Grow Collective, just trying to like, because you do like hook and then introduction and then content and then CTA. So I'm just trying to like build each one of those and then mix and match. Like, I don't know, eventually maybe do a series on like all the things I wish I knew when I started hosting events. Do like, I don't know. I don't want to tie myself into series and stuff just yet. Just gonna.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so awesome, like starting something new, or like you've been sort of in this space for a lot longer, but just the different approaches and like you learn so much and so rapidly, like every day. Like that's making me think I need to work on hooks. Like I'm not there yet. I'm like very baby step and like cut the fat. Like I don't, if there's any resistance to anything, like if I tried to think of a hook,
well, you don't
or
have
focus
to
on
though.
it, then I wouldn't.
So here's what you should do:
edit.
record some intros, like "Hi, I'm Emily," like why people should listen to you, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because that's what I've just been noticing. This is like the structure. So you just like be like, "Hi, I'm Emily. I live in San Diego. I'm a life coach," whatever you want to say, and then you can do an outro where it's like, "Hope you enjoyed this. If you want more tips, follow along." And then you have those always. And then record your video. And whatever you found in that video that you already said is the most profound thing, or might catch somebody's attention and leave them on a cliffhanger. Put those 3 seconds as your hook, and then you can just re-say it in the video. And then people are like, oh, now I see that. So I've seen that done.
Okay.
And I feel like that's a good one.
Cool.
Because yeah, sometimes thinking of the structure like shuts you down.
Yeah.
But then if you're just talking, you might say something that's a perfect hook.
Yeah, I do know it's probably the restructuring. Even that's a step I feel like.
Well, even adding structure, it's like
hard, but.
Well, and that's what I found interesting of like why suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm willing to make content, and it's like I haven't not been making content. I've made plenty of cooking videos. I've made talking videos. Like I did all those videos that you referred to. But the time I did that video, my brother's a videographer. And so he like set up a ring light and like all of his studio lighting, and he had a big camera. And I was sitting there like looking at the camera, like I literally got ready for it, and I like made it a whole thing, and then went through and edited each one. And it was just this whole process where I was like, I'm going to front load all these videos, and everything I have to say has to make sense. And like I did get 7 really good videos out of it. I don't even think I've posted all of them because some of them aren't even relevant anymore. But I think that I was putting all this pressure on, like, I need to get ready and like look nice every time I do a video, and I never get ready and I never put on makeup. So if I have to do that, it's a resistance. And it's like, those are probably all excuses of why I just didn't want to do that. I also realized that the words content creator and the word famous are 2 things that like I've never wanted.
Influencer also.
Exactly. Influencer, content creator.
I was so resistant to all that.
Content creator is not even as bad as influencer. Influencers, like, God fucking forbid. I do not want to see that, for people to see me that way. Absolutely not. And then being famous sounds like you're like P. Diddy and you're going to like get all corrupt and like go to jail. Yeah. And just, or like you're Kim Kardashian and everybody hates you. But I've come to find that like if I want to be a best-selling author, people need to know who I am. And all my favorite podcasters, like David Guillaume, who I sent you the other day. I don't know if you listened to that one, or
listen to all
the Spiritual Hustler one. She's a badass, and she's like famous because so many people follow her. She's written books. She has all these amazing businesses. So yeah, tons of people, millions of people know who she is. But that doesn't mean that she's some like dumb famous person who's just doing it for clout. She's doing it to have influence. And I used to always make the joke, not even used to, like I consistently always joke, I would be an influencer or I would be famous if it meant that I had great influence over people and could positively impact them. But mostly if my businesses could do well because I have a big following, like fine, I'll do it. But I still had those programs around those words to the point where I like wasn't even letting myself. But it's like I want to have podcasts. That's the same thing. Everything I'm doing, the one missing piece is just opening up in short form on TikTok, and even YouTube stuff too. Like I want to have. The other day I was meditating in the sauna, which I do every morning, And normally I do like brain heart coherence meditations. Have you ever done those?
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I love it. But I'm doing the Deepak Chopra 21 Days of Abundance, and it's very different. And I'm sticking to it because I'm on day 9 and I said I was going to do it and I'm going to like see it through. But there are some days where I'm like, I need the brain heart coherence to like boost my mood. Like I'm in a sad mood and I need to cultivate gratitude, or like I need to like drop into my body. And his meditations are just like repeating a mantra, and it's just not hitting the same way for me. And some days I really like it and some days I'm like, So I was thinking, what if I release a meditation series that's all different types of meditations so you can do whichever one fits your mood that day? So if you want to do brain heart coherence, or you want to do like metta or vipassana, which is kind of like Deepak Chopra's, where you're like, more quiet. Like if I had like all the different types, 10 minutes morning meditations.
Yeah.
And then, or I could even record 20-minute ones and then cut them to be shorter, because 20 minutes can be kind of long in the morning, especially in the sauna. I would die. So I need 10 minutes, but
I know. That's a good idea though.
Yeah. So just stepping out and being more comfortable, getting seen. But also I think the biggest key that like I'm drawing between both of us is not letting ourselves get overwhelmed, because it just feels like so many things at once and we have so many ideas. We're so excited, and then it's like, I'm gonna do this, and then you're like, oh, I actually like can't balance all of this stuff. So starting somewhere is better than just shutting down.
Oh yeah, the second thing with that you're making me think, one thing I'm not doing yet is recording much in advance. If I don't post it right away, I'm like, I'm gonna like lose it.
I've found that too. It like just sits in my camera roll.
And then also it kind of goes along with the storage thing now that I'm like having to either put it in Google Drive or delete. I did start deleting things because it takes like hours to upload to Google Drive if I want to do a bunch at once.
It takes so long, and then half the time they don't all upload, and you're like, well, which one of these 50
I know, and it's like
upload, and it's all the same shot of your head. So you're like, how am I supposed to
I don't know how I'm going to use it, So
yeah, that's the one thing that I like kind of toy back and forth. Like sometimes I want to just batch create, but then other times it piles up, and then I look at my list or like all the videos and I'm like, never mind, I don't have time for this. So it's kind of like half when the inspiration hits, and then sometimes I just want to record it, but I don't want to edit it at that time. So
yeah,
I think it's just something I'm gonna have to play around with.
Actually, the repurpose thing I got, you can I think you can post on like a calendar. I need to look into it. There's probably something where you can like I would like to put it somewhere and be done. Yeah. I want to like upload it, but like in advance, like your Substacks.
Scheduling ahead of time is the best, because then you can create when you want to create, and then you can spread it out so that it's sustainable. And that's why like with my Substacks being scheduled through June 20th, even though I have like 12 that I want to write, or however many in my notes, I have technically 2 more weeks till I have to even do anything with them. And it's not really, it doesn't feel like I'm like, oh, I have to do something with them, but I really want to keep the consistency. And some like this week, I am not going to have time to touch any of them. And I've written a bunch. I think I wrote 3 on my dog walk with him yesterday, but like I don't have time to edit them, to draft them, to like do all of that. So I'll just, half the time I don't even plan to do it. And then it's like I start doing one, and then it's 9 a.m. and suddenly I look up and it's 1 p.m. and I'm like, well, I guess this was my Substack day.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to not feel guilty about that too. Because I'm like, it's hard to spend a lot of time when you're self-employed doing anything that's not revenue generating. But when I focus too much on anything revenue generating, it also takes away like inspiration and the excitement.
That's so cute.
So yeah, it's always a balance. But I feel like you've been producing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It helps that I'm focusing. Like it's nice that my main focus is kind of YouTube, and I love doing it. And it's so easy. Like I just show up as I am, and yeah.
Well, and that's where when you have the long form, you have so much that you can repurpose.
That too, yeah. But it doesn't. But I'm also letting myself not do it for every video.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes, like you said, I just can't. I just don't have
also
the
think
time.
that's better strategically if you put every single clip from every single thing on your YouTube on your TikTok, then why would somebody also go to your YouTube?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like, oh, I like what this girl has to say. She talks even more on her YouTube. I'm going to go listen to her YouTube.
Yeah.
Aw. So cute.
Yeah, it's so fun. Man. And I'm just like talking about anything, and it's funny, like, I don't know if I want to get too much into this right now, but just like I talked all about money because I was thinking about my own finances, and I also like had a conversation with a friend about money, and like there's like all these things that I like to tell people if we talk about money. I'm like, oh, do you know this, and this? I'm like, let me just put it in a video. And honestly, I wasn't that energized talking about it. I was like, whatever. And it was so unstructured, and I put it up, and it did like I got the most likes than I have on any other video.
That's probably the number one topic that people struggle with. Even people who are really wealthy, I'm sure that I think money stress is just such a common thing.
Yeah.
That people could probably really resonate with it.
It's like funny that you can't predict what.
No, and half the time it's the one video that you hate the most. That like, I actually was talking to Ryan about that today. Really? She was saying TikTok, sometimes you'll post, and it's consistent, like not really that many views or like 2,000 or whatever your average is. And then something's going to like pop off and it's like the one that you thought the least of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually, back in COVID, when TikTok was like first blowing up and like everybody was making TikToks because no one had anything to do, I made my first ever TikTok because I was blowing up a pool floaty.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have nothing to do. I want to go like lay in the pool. I was in Arizona. It was hot as fuck. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go lay in the pool. Bought myself a floaty, and my dad has like one of those air pumps. And I stuck it in the blow up little tube. And I literally, for some reason, it made me think of like sex. And so I just posted like to the song Candy Shop. And he just, all it was filming that and like putting it in there. And it was like, you know, you've been dry too long when this makes you think of sex or something like that. And it got like 40,000 views.
Oh my
gosh. I don't think I really got any followers or anything, or I probably would have like gotten jazzed and continued doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was like, it's so weird that like a 2-second video of me putting a thing in a hole.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's kind of the beauty in it. It's like,
yeah.
And I remember when I was first trying to make like fitness and food content, so like almost 3 years ago now, I lost what I was going to say. I don't know what I was going to say now.
With like popularity or like things going.
Oh, now I remember. Okay. I remember I would like watch videos and like try and take like mini courses and things about like content creation. And everybody would be like, you have to post every day and you have to use the trending audio, because if you don't use trending audio, nobody's going to see your stuff. And I would try to use the trending audios, and then I'd be like, but these aren't me and they don't fit my vibe. So I was like, screw the trending audio, because if it's not me, it's not going to do well. Yeah. Anyways, like if it doesn't speak to me, True. It's not going to attract the right audience. So I feel like I kind of dropped that like obsessing about the trends and try to capitalize on the trends. And then I noticed that everybody in the fitness influencer world just copies each other. So it's like once you get into that algorithm, it's literally the same video with the same song, same captions, everything, and just a different person doing the same thing in the background. And half the time it's like bullshit workouts that I'm like, you're all going to hurt yourself. Please don't do that. So I'm like, it's all bullshit when you just try and like do it for the clout and like copy other people.
Yeah. I think there was something in the Artist Way about that yesterday. Like leave the trends and the pattern recognition to the critics. But we're artists.
Yeah. Where are you in that now? So did you restart it?
The Artist Way?
Yeah. So are you like doing week by week again?
I don't know yet.
You're just kind of like,
all I know is I
skim through and just do the
Yeah.
journal entries.
I for sure want to read it. I for sure want to meet and do the morning pages. I did my artist date
I feel
yesterday.
like I'm going to do the morning pages like the rest of my life.
I know, but this is good accountability for it. And then also, like I was telling my brother, I want to read it again just so I stay true to like the art of it and not get caught up like because of like just society. Like I'm trying to do like a hard, unique, unknown path thing for me.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't exist. I'm going somewhere that doesn't exist kind of thing. So. And I only have one more session with my business coach too. And I'm kind of like, this will be good structure.
Yeah.
Of like, okay.
How do you feel about not meeting with her?
Oh, so scared.
Yeah.
Or I'm just like.
Would you want to do like another round?
Yeah.
What is it, 6 weeks or 3 months?
It's like, yeah, it's like a certain number of calls. I forget how many, but I don't know. It's just good to have somebody like keeping you accountable and who knows a little bit more than you do.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was going to therapy every single week since June of last year. And then I got to the point early this year where I even thought to myself, I still really like the accountability of having a call, but I almost felt like it was time to switch to a coach.
Oh, yeah, you want
as opposed to a therapist, because a therapist is kind of like trying to pick out like what's wrong and like help you fix that. So then when I was in a good place, I would notice before my appointment that I would try to like write down everything that was going wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bitch, you got enough anxiety to be focusing on what's wrong. Like, this is not going to help you move forward. I got to focus on what's right a little bit more. Yeah. And that's where I think like a coach can kind of help you dive deep, especially a business coach who's like more mindset based. But my therapy was free because I pay so much in health insurance. So until coaches start taking insurance, I'm not going to get one. I'll just talk to you.
I know. I was going to say, I want to get 5 people who do free coaching.
Oh, tell me.
So maybe we could do like an actual like coaching session. Even
I'd be
if it's
down.
Like 30 minutes or whatever.
For sure.
Because I want to just,
Yeah, I would love that.
Yay.
Yeah. And then like, we can talk about, like, you can be like, okay, what do you think of this part? What do you think of this part? And like, we can kind of like, it can help you flesh out your discovery call scripts and like your programs. Cause I think that's what, even with my marketing consulting, it's like every client that I have, I structure the next client more because I'm like, oh, you know what? I should have been more upfront about X, Y, and Z. Because at the end of us working together, they expected that like this was included. Like people always think that when I'm building them a website, that means that copy and SEO and like adding their pictures are automatically included. I'm like, actually, site design is solely the skeleton, format, like making sure all the fonts are correct, like all your colors are correct. And so for some clients or like when I'm helping out my friends, like I'm super happy to like write the copy and I love writing copy, but technically for a client, that's like another, depends on how many pages, but it could be like 500 a page even, or like, 1,500 total or something. And I had clients be like, well, what do you mean that you're not going to like edit all of my, and like I still would do basic copy so that it like fits their brand, but then it's like they would like nitpick on the words and ask me to change it. And I'd be like, hey, I'm actually going to teach you how to just edit this yourself, because unless you want to pay me to do it, that's not included. And I had a client be like, well, what do you mean? I already paid you $5,000 and you're telling me that like these things aren't included. And I was like, well, I've actually done like way more for you than the $5,000 package includes. Yeah. But she was pissy when I said that she had to like edit the wording herself. So those are times that now when I meet with somebody and I send them a proposal, I break it out so clearly. Like copy is an add-on. If you want me to do it, great. Pick this package that discounts it, but make sure it's included in the package you pick. Don't pick the lowest package and then expect me to also do your copy and your SEO. And if I say that up front, then they're like, oh, okay. Either they're like, I'm going to pay you, or they can do it themselves. And then if they try to do it themselves and it doesn't work, then they always come back and pay me. But at least me setting my boundaries up front.
An expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all stuff that's like hard to form until you start actually doing it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yay.
You let me know when.
Okay, yeah. After this. Yeah, this is good practice because then I'll even, yeah, maybe I'll like send you an email or something.
Yeah.
How do I start? Yeah. Yeah, I have a link tree up now on all of my bios that has like free coaching consultation.
Yeah, I noticed that. You posted a
Yeah.
story that
And
was
then like
like free
newsletter.
coaching, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I see you.
But it feels so official to have a link tree that's like sign up for my newsletter, the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more thing I want to tell you at least. The newsletter, so I'm not focusing on sending it out, although when I do, my coach had an idea of like I could put content, like, oh, content you might have missed.
Yeah.
If I want to, even if it's just like one or
That's
two
a
videos.
great idea.
And I could do like a bullet or two under them if they don't want to watch, like,
Mm-hmm.
or so they know what to expect and they
Yeah.
can pick what they want to watch. And she was like, your people on TikTok might not know what you're doing on YouTube, so, and vice versa. Or like some people only like email and they're not really on their socials. So it'd be cool to like show them what's going on
Totally.
in their email and have like one list of all three.
Yeah.
Of like, here's what's going on.
Yeah, and then you just have a template for your email, and you copy the template or you put it into a campaign, and you just drop in like your 3 favorite videos since the last time.
True.
So you don't have to do anything. You just drop in your content, and you can schedule that a month in advance if you want, because who cares when you're pulling content from?
True.
So it's like you actually can make that more like manageable.
Yeah.
Honestly, too, even when you post your stuff of like what I'm reading right now, like what I'm thinking about, it's like nobody knows what week that is in your life. Because that's what my Substacks, I'm like, last night I was thinking about this, or this morning at the gym. Yeah. And then when I read it, I'm like, that was 3 months ago. Yeah. You know? It's like whenever I have the thought, I try to have an intro of like my personal experience of why I went down that thought process, and then I get into the thought process and then like how they can apply it into their life. But nobody knows what day I half-assed my workout and decided to talk about it. Yeah. So I think that's another thing too. We like put pressure on ourselves, like people.
It needs to be true. It's like comedy. Yeah. Like the stuff they've been saying forever. Like my girlfriend, my ex, last night, yesterday. Exactly. It's like, but they've been saying that joke forever.
Yeah. And they've probably rewritten it 30 times. It's like nobody knows their life.
It's a story. It's interesting. And have you heard of Dan Coe before? I sent you this focus video.
Oh, the one you just sent me? I want to watch it.
You'd like it.
I haven't heard of it.
It's very packed. And it seems it's really good.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, we should probably get to the artist way though.
And we can record again after.
Yeah.
I'm going to pee before we start.
Thank you.
Okay, is it going?
Yeah.
How was it before? I find that having other friends who are like creating content and kind of like doing the same things as you is so motivating and so helpful, because we can draw inspiration from each other and like encourage each other, which I know we kind of talk about regularly, of how like, oh, like we get to connect and talk about these things, and it's like when other people are kind of putting their fears on us, we can connect, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, none of that matters because there's other people who understand what you're doing. Yeah. But I do have some friends who like are very against content and like social media as a whole. Yeah. And people who look down on it or just like whatever. And I have you, Ryan, and Christine, who all make content. Cool. And so whenever I see your guys' content, like I get so excited and I like want to make sure I'm supporting it and just telling you guys how much I love it, because I know that you're putting yourself out there and that that's not easy. And it's also just fun to like watch my friends express themselves and create. And so for me, knowing that I have these 3 close girlfriends who are also creating and understand what I'm doing is like instantly more motivating and more exciting. And it's not that I'm always gonna like send you guys stuff and be like, what do you think of this? But it's nice to know that if I ever had a question or wanted to go, or that there's somebody watching who's like cheering me on, and even if it's not actively acknowledged, even though I feel like all of us make sure to like acknowledge each other, but I just think that's so helpful. And it's not that we have to cut off people who don't understand what we're doing or like project their personal resistance around it, like have their opinion, But when you spend a lot of time with people who are really against the things that you're doing, sometimes you kind of start to take that on. And you're like, actually, you know what? Like, this is really bad for my mental health. Like, I shouldn't be on Instagram. I shouldn't be on TikTok. Like, you're right. I should avoid this. And it's like, actually, I'm going to personally reframe it because I have friends who like have met a lot of people through TikTok who express themselves, who create, who love it, who feel like it's a pressure-free place. And I honestly don't use TikTok. So it's like by hearing you guys talk about it positively and find excitement and creation and inspiration, it helps me reframe it and be more comfortable with it. And, you know, not that I wouldn't eventually push myself to do it, but it just makes it so much easier when you're surrounded by people who honestly support the version of you that you're trying to become.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a really big one. It's like when we start stepping out and doing all these things, you start to recognize the people who no longer align.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that lull period where like you're not as close with those people, or maybe you even cut them off, or like you just don't relate as much.
And there's part of their just like, what are you doing? Who are you becoming? Probably it's like also like fear.
So it's like
and you're breaking the norm.
Kind of like
you're changing and you're making them change and like reflect on themselves too, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's that feeling of like maybe I'm like lonely, like I'm doing all of this by myself, but then eventually you start to attract people who are becoming the version of you that you also want, you know. I don't know, I didn't word that right, but you know what I mean.
Are like, meeting that next version of you.
Yeah, and want to like grow the same way that you are and can meet you where you're at or inspire you to be better. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by all these people who actually understand where I'm going.
It's so cool.
So it's such a nice feeling. It's like a big relief after you feel that lull of like, oh shit, I just like lost a lot of friends because I wanted to go self-employed, which is a very perplexing thing, but it's like it's completely different than what most people do, and people don't know how to relate, and then they feel uncomfortable and they're like, I'm just gonna see you around. So it's nice to be like, oh, I have all these really great nourishing friendships, and then on top of that, like we all get to express ourselves through creating and redefining the influencer, the creator, the famous words that we're all so resistant around, because it's like, hell yeah, we're all gonna be famous. I kind of want a different word for famous, though. Like, what could we call it instead?
Even
well-known?
Known, seen, making an impact.
I feel like I use seen a lot, and I say making an impact.
Like, we're just sharing our... It's not even you, it's like your message. That's what helped me get on social media in the first place. Like, people don't care about you. They're not even thinking about you. They're thinking about how it affects them. Yeah,
because they're just projecting, and that's actually so interesting you say that, because Ryan and I today... we're meeting 2 hours twice a week and writing our book. And so we like meet and we go through each chapter because we have the whole course written out, and then we're editing it into more of a book style, and then we're gonna like go through it again and like change all the reflections or like make sure that they work, and then we're gonna go through our call videos and transcripts and add anything that we missed into each chapter. So we're like doing it in a process. But I lost what I was going to say again. Oh, I remember now. There was one point where we say something like, think of the last time that you bought a product. What was your experience like? Was it seamless and easy, or was there a point where you almost exited the site because you were frustrated?
Yeah.
Did you have to return something and your customer service was good or bad? And she was like, okay, I really like this part, but I don't want to pigeonhole us into just talking about services, because you know that we're talking or about products, because we also have service businesses and all these different things. And she's like, my business, it wouldn't relate to this. And I was like, that's true, but not only is the whole book about every business, but people project their own like relation to whatever you're saying. So think about when you listen to a podcast and it's about something that you have never experienced, but the feelings that person had and the aha moments that they went through, you're like, I've been that. I can resonate with that. Yeah. Oh my God, this applies to my life in this way. And so it's like, you don't have to worry so much about getting really specific and like niching down, because the right people who need to hear those words will take it how they need to take it.
That reminds me, which you might be saying, like your specific story with the specific details, people will relate so widely, and it will be way more interesting and relatable actually, and they'll want to hear it more than a broad for any
Well, yeah,
business.
because if I just said, oh, I have anxiety and that's why I started my business, people would be like, so does everybody else, bitch. Nobody cares. And I'm like, I actually had 4 precancerous tumors between 21 and 26. And if I didn't find them, I'd be dead.
Yeah. Like,
and it's like, people are like, oh shit, what?
That's
but then when I talk about, like, so that's like our hook, which, not that I'm trying to capitalize on it, it's just the truth. But then whatever I'm
but
saying,
I
mean, you got to, right? Personal branding. It's about your personal story.
No, yeah.
And I got a lot of fuel in my story. But everything I learned through that is broadly applicable to, like we were saying, being your most authentic self. And everybody can relate to staying quiet because they don't want to rock the boat, or not having a hard conversation because they don't want other people to not like them, or they just like ignored who they were because they wanted to fit in or be popular or get their parents' approval. And it's like all of those things were what caused my tumors, which on a lighter note, for hopefully most people who don't have to experience that, it's just anxiety, and maybe they don't know why they have their anxiety, but I bet if they learn to turn inward through what I'm speaking about, it's still gonna like really resonate.
Yeah. And it always makes me emotional, and it to me it validates my own anxiety. Like this is why it's so important to address those things.
Because it can, I mean, stress causes inflammation, and inflammation causes disease. I also think that the word disease equals dis-ease, and that like our bodies hold our energy even when we think we've mentally worked through it. It's like, it could be like your whole past life trauma coming up. It could be like your lineage, like all of these like compounded energies that are like stuck within you that cause this anxiety that you need to address. And the only way to address that is by figuring out what you in this lifetime right here, right now, desire, what you want to express yourself through. Like, yeah, I feel like anxiety is just such a interesting topic. We could go down so many rabbit holes with it. But yeah, I guess it kind of shows people, if you don't learn to fix this, it might be like a physical panic attack right now. Like, I have a friend who has been like feeling like tingling, like numbness in his like hands and feet, and like all the doctors are just like running tests and like saying like, you might need to go to a neurologist, it might be a brain issue. And I was like, not to say that it's not, because I'm not going to discredit that, and I did have physical stuff.
Yeah.
But could it be from anxiety? Are you holding on to things that you need to let go of, like all of these things? And it's like, it really can, if you sit there and listen to your body. And also German New Medicine, which I don't know if you've met my friend Grace. Okay, so she's who I go to for acupuncture, and she specializes in German New Medicine and spiritual coaching. Somatic inquiry is what it's called. I just built her whole website, so it's like very much on my mind. But I also just think it's like the coolest thing ever. Like, her acupuncture is like life-changing because she uses German New Medicine and somatic inquiry, which is essentially getting to the root cause of your emotions through like physical pains or like tightness or whatever. So that's what, like, with that weird tapping on the inside of my leg and breathwork, that's why I looked up in German New Medicine, what does this mean? Because obviously the tapping during breathwork meant I was releasing it, but like, what was I releasing? And I think it said like things around the knees means that you're like afraid to take steps forward because your legs are what drive you forward.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really interesting how it's like, it's very holistic and spiritual, but it doesn't feel woo-woo or like unrelatable for people who aren't as into this stuff as like we are, because it says stuff like, okay, well, your legs are how you move through the world. So if you have something in your leg and your right side of your body is masculine and the left side of your body is feminine, and you have all of my injuries have been on my left side because I'm always action. I'm
Wow.
do. I'm never let me just take a second and like receive and like be feminine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so naturally masculine. So I block my femininity, and therefore every injury I've had is on the left side of my body.
Dang. My injury was on my left too.
Well, there you go. What was your injury?
I broke my ankle rock climbing.
Should we look it up and see what that means? Do you want to? I want to.
Sure.
Only if you want to. It's your body.
Sure.
All right. We're going to chat GPT this bitch. Okay. In German New Medicine, you broke it?
Yeah, left ankle.
Okay, see, so this gives a nice description of it. So it says German New Medicine, every physical symptom or condition is believed to originate from a biological conflict shock, an unexpected, highly emotional event that catches you off guard. Each body part is associated with a specific type of conflict, and the left and the right of the issue gives clues about the relationship context involved. So the left ankle injury, core interpretation, the ankle is related to mobility, flexibility, and direction, moving forward in life, being able to change or commit to a path. So an injury typically occurs in a healing phase after a conflict is resolved. So a self-devaluation conflict, I get that one a lot, connected to mobility, flexibility, or direction, feeling unable to move forward, change direction, or stand strong in a certain situation, may involve feeling stuck, unstable, or incapable of walking your own path. And then the left side, are you right-handed? Okay, because it literally says for right-handed people, the left side typically relates to the mother-child relationship or home and nurturing conflicts. It may involve a protective or receiving role or issues with feeling supported. Does that resonate at all?
I don't know. Not really.
It says, an example, you may have felt emotionally paralyzed or unstable in a situation involving a loved one, like a child, parent, or a partner, especially if you were trying to protect them or felt unsupported in that role.
I don't know. There was some weird stuff with a partner at the time, but
I feel like it doesn't have to be anything big either. Like it could be like if you were having some weird stuff with someone you were dating and then you decided to like end it and follow your path, then like you could release it through injury.
It wasn't like at that time though. I think I was just dating somebody that I probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And got slammed into a wall.
Honestly, I think that's cool. Why I broke this finger, because the left side ring finger is about relationships, like romantic relationships. And I had a spiral fracture, which meant that I felt like I was like spiraling inside. And I had been dating a guy who I like really wanted to like, but I felt like I just wasn't feeling it. And he was so great that I really wanted to. And so I was constantly in my head like, do I honor what I'm feeling or do I like see it through, because he's so amazing. And then I walked my dog and my brother's dog, and my brother's dog's leash spiral fractured my finger.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But then it's like, I guess I'm going to fucking break a bone and have surgery 3 days later. It's kind of a big deal.
No, honestly, I actually was kind of thinking about like the spiritual aspect of me breaking that ankle. It did really change the trajectory of that relationship and my life in a good way. And got me.
Yeah, because you were like injured and then.
Yeah, and then I got more into yoga, then rock climbing and all this stuff. And got some more girlfriends in my life. Like that was really, I was like, I need some girlfriends and more community here. So.
Yeah.
And it got me on that path.
Yeah. And that feels like healing phase where like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I feel like some of the most depressing times are when you get injured. When I
Yeah.
hurt my knee and I couldn't like walk or like shower by myself, and like people had to like carry my computer to the meeting room,
gosh.
and I'd be like hopping along after them.
Yeah.
And like just feeling like I was in the best shape of my life, and now I can't work out for 8 months. Like I have to have surgery. Like this sucks. I'm so down. I'm so sad. But then every time we're in a sadness lull or like a depressive state or anxious, it's always a moment to reflect, figure out why you're feeling that way and change it so that you can like evolve into a better version of yourself. So, makes sense.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about you when you say, like when I feel low about just my new phase of growth right now, just how you've been saying, like if other people or influences like get you down, just know like when you recommit, like you're that much more committed and like,
yeah. It's like you're expanding your vessel to be able to hold what you're stepping into, to like level up. So that's what, like when I wake up feeling anxious, especially on my PMS days, where I'm like, literally, it's not even rational how stressed I feel about everything in my life. And like, granted, it's not ever at the level that it used to be, but like, I wake up just like feeling down and like physically heavy and like, oh, like, boo hoo, poor me. And every time I'm like, great, this is an opportunity for me to recommit and to push myself through. Because if I recommit enough to push myself through the bad feelings, on the other side of the bad feelings, I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be better for it. And maybe I'll make a bunch of money because of it. Like, who knows? But it's like you also like, if you don't have the capacity to hold the amount of energy that you're trying to like bring into your life, then you might get something, but you're not going to be able to hold on to it. So it's like David Guillaume, the guy I sent you, he always says that we're a light bulb. And if you're a 50-watt light bulb and you're asking for 1,000-watt life, the light bulb will shatter if you got what you asked for. So every time you're expanding from 50 to 100 to 150 to 200 to eventually you will be that 1,000-watt light bulb that can therefore hold everything that you are working towards. So sometimes it's like we're just not ready. And the only way to be ready is to like push through, recommit, and feel better about it on the other side. And then you're probably going to have the same thing come up and it's going to hurt even more. And then you're going to know exactly how to get over it. And it's just that repeated process of like things keep coming up on a deeper and deeper and deeper level for you to work through more and more and more. As much as we would love to say, oh, I healed this and now it's gone.
I know,
I'm like,
right?
no, it's just going to come back even worse. So just now you have the tools to get through it. That's ultimately what it is. You're like, oh, we're just building our toolkits.
Yeah, literally. Cycles, I feel like.
Well, okay, I have a thing on that. So whenever I think about like ups and downs, if you think about it in a circle, say you're like going up the circle, so you have to come back down. So when you're on that downside, because we're constantly going in a circle.
Yeah.
So if you're on that like lull, that's like your recharge point. So you're like, it's like your phone dies.
Yeah.
It's low battery. You plug it in and it goes back up to the top and it has 100%. And then it slowly uses the battery and then you got to recharge it again. And it's kind of like, that's us. We just go through the cycle and it's like you can't feel good every single day.
Yeah.
You can feel bad every single day if you don't do anything about it, I guess. But that reminds me of my grandma who was like miserable for 80 years. I'm like, that's harder to me than just doing the work and feeling better.
Yeah.
I'd rather the ups and downs than constant misery because it's kind of one of the two.
And like being nicer to yourself on the downs and knowing how to support yourself.
Exactly.
Like the better you get at that, I feel like, and the faster that you get back up and like the more gentle you can support yourself to get back up, I think is the like best thing you can do.
Yeah, I think that's honestly been the biggest key for me with like, you know, the past couple of days of just feeling off. I was able to tell myself, it's okay. it's your time of the month. This happens every time.
Yeah.
Your hormones are going crazy. If you want to eat a little extra, you go get that brownie. Like, it's okay. You deserve it. It's fine. And of course, like, people can take that too far and do that 100% of the time. And that's where it's not good. But I think as people who are extremely driven and too hard on ourselves, it's really important to recognize that, like, there's actually more growth that comes from being low. So if you can find a way to grow and learn the lesson from it, it's actually a blessing.
True.
You know, like, it's all temporary if you don't hang on to it.
Yeah. And it's humbling in the best way.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd be cocky assholes.
Yeah.
If we were too good at everything and we never had any problems, like life would low-key be kind of boring too.
True. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I watched an episode of Black Mirror. Do you watch that at all?
Sometimes.
I feel like it's really hit or miss. And sometimes I just don't even watch some of the episodes because I'm like, whatever that description is a no for me. Yeah. And sometimes they're like really real, or like it could totally be real with like all this AI stuff coming out. So they kind of freak me out. But some of them are really interesting and thought-provoking. I watched one the other day that was like on the new season where a girl comes to, like, the main character has a old acquaintance from high school come and work at her company. And she has this like crazy device that, like, if she holds down the button with her fingertip, anything she says becomes actual reality and everybody around her believes whatever it was. So she got this job and the main character girl like wrote her an email, and then to get back at her, the like new employee girl with the thing said, like, she didn't send me that email, and she pressed the button. And so when they went with her boss to look through the email didn't exist because whatever she says becomes reality. So the main character girl starts freaking out. She's like, she's lying, but there's like no proof. And so eventually at the end of the episode, the main character like breaks into her house and like finds the little pennant. And she was like, I knew you were changing stuff, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, why don't you go just like go be the empress of the world, or like go do something like fun. Why are you here messing with me? And the girl with the pennant goes, that was the first thing I did. But having a good life every single day gets really boring. And she goes, and it didn't get rid of any of my negative emotions. So now I'm here to like mess with you to get rid of my negative emotions. And I'm going to disagree with that part because bitch needs to just turn inward and like let go and forgive
also,
instead of killing helping all of her old things. So no, it's not. But I just thought that it was really interesting that she was like, I had that option and I did it 10 times and now it's boring.
Dude, that's that thing Kate plays during Breathwork.
Oh, Alan Watts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you lived every day for 75 days, you'd like end up exactly where you are now.
Yeah. Like you'd live the most perfect life over and over and over and over. Then you would start
wanting some
challenge.
Yeah.
You don't play video games. Like, it's like I see life as a game.
Yeah.
Primarily is how I've been viewing it lately. But like video games, if there was no challenge, you wouldn't play. If there weren't levels, you wouldn't play it.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like Sims. There wasn't like any challenge. So I used to like build houses and then start over and just build the house again. Because once it got to like living their lives and I knew all the cheat codes to just give them as much money as possible, I was like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
So it's like you do need
not that I even play video games, but just the whole concept of video games.
I used to love like computer games as a kid.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really good metaphor. I've never even thought about that. How like people play video games because there's a challenge.
Yeah.
So my favorite kind of games, if I do play them, are ones that like there's a level and you have to beat the level and go to the next one, and then the next one gets harder and harder and harder. It's like I don't know what that's called. Relay, parlay.
Even like Tetris, I love Tetris, but like they fall
because
like,
it gets harder.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Versus if Tetris was always imagine it very slow and you could always do it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would not be addicted
to it. You
might
play 3 games and then you're like, I'm good.
But now I like can't have it on my phone because I will.
Really? Tetris girl.
Different times in my life, yeah.
Love that.
I remember on my like lime green iPod Nano.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've had the app too sometimes.
Yeah. I got into solitaire for a while. Really? That was like my phone or my plane game. Nice. And I just play it.
Same with Tetris, I think.
Yeah. Gotta have some good games.
But yeah, like life, it's like it's falling faster at times. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps it like exciting. And then you get better the next time. You're like, oh, I need to like flip it faster.
Yeah.
And like different strategies and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Then eventually you level up.
Mm-hmm. Makes me think of the Forbes 30 under 30 guy that you were talking about. He like literally made it.
Yeah.
And then was like, all right, gonna start over.
Yeah. He has a lot of podcast episodes, I'm sure, about that. But I went to one of his breathworks after that. He talked all about it and just like, I don't know, good perspective on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what. He just like has such like vision for the future still. And it's like, I don't even know.
Yeah, and he could have just like wallowed in his own self-pity and been like, I'm a failure, and just like stayed in that place. Or he was probably like, I learned all these lessons. And I used to actually, every job I ever had, I used to say, well, now I learned what not to do when I start my own company. Because I always worked for startups. So I'd be like, oh, well, they did all these things wrong. So now I know what not to do.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the times, specific jobs are just to learn what you don't like. So you can narrow it down to like more of what you do like.
Yeah.
But you also, have to keep trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you this, but it's I don't know, it's interesting because like my first job ever after college literally was the ideal job. Like that's what I'm chasing. And like everyone that works at that company was like, yeah, that was,
what job was
freaking amazing. It was a Salesforce consulting company in DC, like 1,000-person company or something. And we had maybe, actually, I forget how many, but I think there were like 200 people in that office and everybody went to work every day. Like great culture, like high performers, like so fun. Collaboration, great mentors, great peers, like everybody working together, like pushing each other in different ways. We'd like talk about finance and stuff in the kitchen and like just very fun, very social and hardworking, like high quality everything. And what I wrote down, which I think I showed you on our walk one time, like everything that I am manifesting for my ideal job is that, but it's showing up in YouTube right now, and the money will come, is what you pointed out to me. Everything I'm doing for this business is exactly hitting all those feelings. It's energizing, collaborative, whatever. And then the money will come. But every single thing except for the money is true now. But I say that too, like there are parts of my job I don't love in general from being working, but like it's also showed me a lot of the feelings that I do love. Like you get those. But I mean, you can look at all your experiences in life too, like what kinds of things are energizing. And
yeah, it makes me think about my first job out of school too, and like that was like such a great job, but there were points where I was like very miserable because it was really, really, really hard. Like I was fresh out of college, had been working for them remotely for 3 months, and then 3 more months in, I was the accounting manager under the financial manager. And so it was us two doing like all of the finance stuff. And then she left and they were like, Gabby, do it.
Oh my gosh.
And so like I would have to be reporting to the board of directors. I'd be at the office till midnight alone. Like my boss like didn't want to explain to me why I was doing stuff wrong. So I would be like, well, this is why I did it. Like, where did I go wrong? And he'd be like, stop making excuses. And I was like, I'm just trying to like explain what I did so you could tell me where I went wrong. And now I could see both sides now that I'm older. But it's like, damn, if I had the mindset now to be like, these are challenges that I need to get through to become a better version of myself, a better employee. Now I can look back like there were so many fun social things. Like I had my second manager was the best manager I've ever had. They always gave me new opportunities. That's why I did like multiple different roles there. I got to start my own departments and like, figure things out. And it's like when you are in that and you haven't had other experiences, sometimes you don't even realize like how good it was. But then sometimes you have to leave to even learn that, because if I had just stayed at that company my whole life, then I wouldn't even have the perspective of like how awesome that was. Like I took it for granted. And I wasn't supposed to stay there. I mean, life is life and it takes you on the journey for a reason. But it's interesting to think about like if they would let me work remote, I mean, they've sold by now. I don't know if I even know anybody who works there. I think all of the like founding people have gone and started new companies because they sold and they're all really rich now. Congrats, everybody. But yeah, it's like now looking back, I'm like, that was a really awesome experience. But while I was there were moments where I was like really struggling.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, maybe we can do the artist way and talk after.
Yeah.
But and we can talk after, but do you want to plug Grow and where can people find you if they want more?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess we'll have, I don't even know. Yeah, Grow Collective is my company. We are launching a portal that's going to connect event hosts, facilitators, brands, and venues all in one place. We're going to have event templates that teach you exactly how to host all my events that I've done and perfected. So and then we have courses on how to host events as well. So if people want to start hosting events and just like meet other people who have done it and have support along the way, that is going live within the next 2 weeks. Previously, Grow was just an event company, so I've hosted over 200 events now, and now I want to help empower other people around the whole country to do what I've done and not make the same mistakes that I made, because I learned from all those mistakes. But if people could not have to make them, then their journey will be a lot more fun and relaxing and profitable. So that's Grow Collective, grow _ collective, GRO, and collective with no E on Instagram, as well as TikTok. And then my new TikTok is going to be Grow with Gab, GRO with Gab. And that's also the name of my Substack. And I post a lot of it on my personal Instagram, which is Gab _ in the city as well. So check it out. We're going to have lots of podcasts and things coming out. It would be worth subscribing.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers.